Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drehon, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Character Conversion Halloween Special. It is October and the end, in fact. By the time this video releases, it is either before Halloween or the day of Halloween. And during this time, I take a look at villains from across media and bring them into Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And today we are once again taking a look at villains from the Dungeons & Dragons past. This time, two more very basic villains. I've got to say I have to apologize to Grimsword because, I thought he was basic. These two are basic when it comes to their class archetype. Once again, we are talking about evil variants of these class archetypes, but they are still very much basic characters of their respective class. We have two more action figures from Dungeons & Dragons action figure line, Drex and Zorgar. I'll go ahead and read the description that is in their character bio and on their toy product. It's the exact same, so yeah. Fighters, both good and evil, are known for their superior strength. Drex is one of the most strongest and feared of all evil fighters. He carries a variety of weapons and is an expert with all types of swords, maces, and knives. Drex, however, because of his sheer power and razor-sharp armor plates, is most dangerous during hand-to-hand combat. Next is Zorgar. The meanest and strongest of all barbarians, he fears nothing or no one, and will attack his enemies with a club and dagger, or with his bare hands. At times he appears to be more like a savage beast than a human. Like most barbarians, his only concern is his own survival, and he will fight anyone who stands in his way. Now, we do have, like I said, the two action figures, which have these character descriptions on them, but we also have their stat blocks, which appeared in a Advanced Dungeons & Dragons adventure. I don't remember the name of the adventure. I will make sure to have V put it in the video during the editing process. I just cannot remember the name of the adventure off the top of my head. I believe we can also find Grimsword's original stat block in this adventure as well. But I digress. We are looking at some very basic characters with not a lot of description beyond this. Now, I will give Drex some credit. He does have the classification of a Myrmidon, which is a Greek warrior who is loyal in the army, loyal to their commanding officer. Now, Zorgar is a little weird. He is classified as an evil barbarian, but he is also classified as a swashbuckler. But also, he has the class features of a fighter. So, yeah. We do have a little bit more to go off of with these characters than we did with Grimsword, but they are still boiled down to their most basic of character description and features. So, why don't we try to create these two in a 5th edition character format? Shall we begin? First things first, we're going to go ahead and go with Drex. No surprise, we are going to have a level 20 fighter on our hands. For our stats, we will be using the point buy system. Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution are our highest stats, 15, 14, and 13 apiece. Intelligence, Charisma, and Wisdom will all be 10. For race, we are going to be using Human Variant, getting the skill proficiency in Intimidation. Our feat of choice is going to be the Tavern Brawler, giving us weapon proficiency in improvised weapons, and our unarmed strike is currently going to be a 1d4. And if we happen to hit our target with an unarmed strike or with an improvised weapon, we can attempt a grapple in the same turn. We also get 2 languages of choice. One of them is automatically common. The other one I'm not sure about. We could go with Orc, we could go with Elf. I don't really know. That's totally up to you. With our ability score increases, we are going to increase our Constitution by 1, increase Strength by 1, and thanks to Tavern Brawler, will increase our Strength by 1 again, making it a 17, with our Constitution now being a 14. An alternative background we could choose instead of the Gladiator, which is the original background I chose because it made somewhat sense, would be the Soldier, since he is classified as a Myrmidon, a Greek soldier. If you were to go this route, I do recommend switching out the Intimidation skill proficiency with Acrobatics, since we will be getting Intimidation from our Soldier background alongside Athletics, along with a game set of choice and land vehicle proficiency. Next is our class features. Since we are level 20 fighter, we get 20 d10 hit dice, with our starting hit points being 12, additional hit points after first level being 1d10 plus our Constitution modifier per fighter level after the first. We get proficiencies in all armor and shields, simple and martial weapons, strength and Constitution saving throws, and our skills are going to need to be changed. I just see that. Currently, we're using the Gladiator background, so we are going with Athletics and Intimidation. But if you are to go with the Soldier background, you are going to want to switch these out for 2 others of the Fighter class. I don't exactly know which ones would work. Probably I don't know, maybe history and insight, maybe even perception. Anywho, let's go ahead and move on. Our fighting style is going to be unarmed fighting, increasing our unarmed strike to a d6. We also get access to Second Wind, Action Surge, and our martial archetype of Battle Master, which is going to give us access to combat superiority, giving us our maneuvers of bait and switch, commanding presence, disarming strike, feinting attack, goading attack, lunging attack, parry, riposte, and trip attack. Other features from the Battle Master include Student of War, Know Your Enemy, and Relentless. To finish off our features for the Fighter class, we also get access to a second Action Surge, 3 uses of extra attack, and 3 uses of Indomitable. And finally, we are taking our ability score increases and our feats. Go ahead and have your strength increased by 2 to make it a 19, which will increase by 1 to a 20 thanks to the slasher feat. Your constitution is going to be increased by 2, and same with your wisdom and charisma. And for your final feat, I do recommend Shield Master. And now that we are done with our build for Drex, let us move over to our Barbarian, Zorgar, who is going to have the race of human, but not the variant human. We want to keep him as a regular human for this one because our feat is going to come from our background, the Giant Foundling, giving us intimidation and survival, as well as the languages of Giant, and I think a good one would be Goblin. We also get the feature Strike of the Giants. We're going to pick Hill Strike. For your stats, go ahead and increase your stats of 15 strength to a 16, your 13 dexterity to a 14, your constitution from 14 to 15, your intelligence and wisdom will increase from 9 to 10, and your charisma will increase from a 12 to a 13. Now for our Barbarian features, you are going to have 3d12 hit die, since we're only going 3 levels into Barbarian. We also get our hit points of 12 plus our constitution modifier, so that's going to be a 14. Extra hit points of 1d12 plus constitution modifier per Barbarian level up for the first, which is only going to be done twice. Proficiencies in light armor, medium armor, shields, simple and martial weapons, strength and constitution saving throws, and our skills are going to be nature and perception. You also have access to rage, unarmored defense, reckless attack, danger sense, primal knowledge and animal handling, and primal path of the beast. And we're going with form of the beast's claw attack. It is stated in Zorgar's description that sometimes he fights like an animal, so it made sense to go with the path of the beast. Now for our 17 levels of fighter, and I decided to go with something interesting. First and foremost, our 17d10 hit dice with extra hit points equal to 1d10 plus our constitution modifier per fighter level. Since Zorgar is portrayed with both a dagger and a club, one in each hand, I decided to go with 2-weapon fighting. We also get access to Second Wind and Action Surge. For our martial archetype, I decided to go with the Unearthed Arcana subclass known as the Brute. This gives us access to Brute Force, which increases our damage by 1d8, Brutish Durability, an additional fighting style which we will pick Unarmed Fighting, and Devastating Critical. We also get access to 2 extra attacks, 2 uses of Action Surge, and 3 uses of Indomitable. For our feat, I decided to go with Dual Wielder to make it a little bit easier to use 2 weapons, one in each hand. For our ability score increases, go ahead and increase your strength to 20, dexterity to 16, constitution to 18, and charisma to 14. And that is all for today's video. What did you think of Drex and Zorgar? Let me know down in the comments section below. And this is the final time I will be doing a Dungeons & Dragons build for my Halloween specials. Next year, we'll be taking a look at villains from Pathfinder's lore. But until next time, this has been Drehan, and I am offline.